Good morning, Jags. This is Fahad. Today is Wednesday, September 2nd. Let's get started. First of all, really good news this morning, as you all saw, as I posted in Telegram not too long ago. Michael Jordan is becoming an advisor to DraftKings, and while it's not immediately of available exactly what percentage equity stake he's also taking in the company, I have not seen the SEC filing on this one yet, but this could be something that is potentially under discussion. We'll find out more. New York Post article is out. That's the one that is breaking this news this morning, just moments ago. And so here is the New York Post article. Well, I'll pull it up. But the important thing is that this could be significant because remember, the same exact thing happened with Papa John's about a year ago when Shaq took a large stake in the company, also became the board of the director. And after that, we saw the stock just took off, and that stock is now up more than 80–90% within the past year or so since that happened. And the company immediately started to turn around and started to see positive menu innovations and all of this. So DraftKings didn't need any kind of restructuring per se, but having Michael Jordan actually on the advisory board and with an equity stake would be significant. I do not know what the percentage of the equity stake is, but we'll find out. The stock is materially higher by more than 12% in pre-market. So this means that on a daily scale, this is breaking out. This is the chart that you're looking in front of you. It is breaking out through all of this VOP congestions level and should now easily go to new 52-week high. So great for us because we are loaded up on common as well as call options in this name. Now, with that said, I have one stock I want to cover, which I added to my watch list, a breakout watch list last night. And I want to see if we're going to see some follow through positive action in this name. And if we do, this thing is potentially going to run. And the stock is Xilinx, XLNX, Xilinx. Now, this is a depressed name for quite some time because the company had setbacks for several quarters last year, or more like last year and year before last year. It fell off the cliff. The growth slowed materially. The company didn't have the right product mix in the market, particularly to address the high growth areas of the market, which was the GPUs as well as the data center chips and such. Nevertheless, this company actually has been making a turnaround ever since. And especially in the last 2 quarters, we have seen sequential improvement that is rather very, very important. First of all, purely from a technical standpoint, if you look closely, here is the bull flag that I'm watching. This bull flag is very, very tight bull flag between $103 and $106 per share. If this thing starts to take out $106 per share, I think this thing is going to make a run towards new 52-week high. To put it simply, I can also draw the lines in stock charts just to show you very clearly, but you can see right here, this is the very tight bull flag right here around just below 106. If it takes this out, I believe this thing is going to attack this major VOP resistance around 108. And if it takes that out, we're going to see a new 52-week high. Another way of looking at it is basically simply drawing the channel. And so here is the channel right at trend support at this time. And then the upper end of this channel is right over here. Give or take a few dollars. Just important thing is basically the trend rather than being precise on the actual price point. So this is sitting near the lower end of the channel, building a base. Volume has dried up. Take a look at the MACD lines. This has started to give a bull cross just in the last day or so. So today we'll probably get that firm bull cross, and the RSI has lifted higher sharply from 43 to 54 recently, which means improving momentum indicators. So this could have a monster move if it starts to take a next leg higher from 106 all the way to 115. And last thing I can tell you on the fundamental side, the only thing, most important thing that I will point out, when the company reported this earnings on July 30th, the stock was clearly overbought at the time. It was trying to break out, but didn't have the power with the RSI and MACD overbought at the time. So we ended up getting a small corrective phase on lighter and lighter volume. Most important thing that stood out from that earnings report was that for the following quarter, which was the September quarter, the company guided total revenues of a midpoint of 755 million, which was well above the street estimate of 730 million. And the EPS they guided was 76 cents versus 65 cents estimate. And this is despite the headwinds that the company had previously mentioned in the prior 2 quarters, which means they're seeing clearly improving trends. And the management cited in the earnings call, when I read this, as well as the whole transcript, the management cited, I quote, strong recovery in TME and A&D businesses, as well as ABC business, which is the auto and the manufacturing activity. And they believe that those activities are improving. They also said that the data center business is flat to slightly down, which I understand. I fully agree. If you're going to try to compare this name to AMD or NVIDIA, you're doing it wrong. Those are absolutely clearly the leader. But this is a company, Xilinx, which at one point was showing double-digit declines. So for this company, for data center to go sequentially flat growth, and while the other businesses actually inflect positive, I think the trend is there to see that it is improving. The company's number one tier one customer is Samsung, which is seeing a lot of North American deployment, and that should sustain for multiple quarters because of the 5G ramp is taking place. And overall, the company said that the broad-based industry demand is expected to continue to strengthen throughout in the second half, while even though it was not explicitly mentioned for the third quarter guidance, which means they basically still left the room in the guidance to improve it as they see more clarity going forward. And I think we will see that in the third quarter with another clean beat and raise, and then we'll see that in the fourth quarter as well. So I think the trends are improving. Forward earnings estimates are now finally starting to move higher. The trend is higher highs and higher lows, and the stock is sitting at the bottom of the channel. So I'm expecting $10 move to the upside in this stock. And so watch the short-term call option activities in this very closely, and let's see if it picks up some steam. That's it from me. Jay?
Morning, Pod. Taking a look at Revolve Group, ticker is RVLV. In yesterday's session, at the time, we highlighted that there was over 4,000 volume in the March 20 calls. Taking a look today at open interest, that jumped from 49 to 2,622. So about 2,500 contracts were bought, ranging between $4.60 all the way up to $5.40. So you're probably looking at a little over $1 million in total premium. Now, Revolve Group is an online fashion retailer.
Similar to Stitch Fix, right? And basically it's a direct competitor to Stitch Fix, yeah.
And last month, shares surged after reporting their Q2 numbers. Net sales, however, they were down 12%. Active customers were up 13%. But looking at some of the post-earnings commentary, Raymond James talked about a strong recovery in revenue growth throughout Q2. And then Credit Suisse talked about how, despite a volatile track record with inventory control, they were encouraged to see Q2 inventory down 37%. And furthermore, with their inventory clean and sales reaccelerating faster than expected, Revolve has started to chase inventory to keep up with demand and to refill new and key categories. Now, one of the things that jumped out at me on the conference call was when the co-founder and co-CEO talked about how they are really excited about Instagram Reels. Now, Reels is under the Facebook umbrella. This was launched on August 5th. It's a product very similar to TikTok, which allows users to record 15-second clips. And on the conference call, they talked about how since they've launched there, they've had some really good, meaningful traction. And they go on to say, I believe, over 1.5 million memes, and in just a couple of days, they basically saw 1.5 million memes since launching, essentially. So this opens up a big opportunity for them. Now, the final point I would say is that Jefferies was out a couple weeks ago with a note talking about this new product for Facebook. They said that their proprietary survey of 800 plus US Instagram users and channel checks support their view that Reels could be Facebook's next key product catalyst. In their survey, approximately 50% of Reels users were engaging daily, and over 80% are likely to continue using Reels in the future. Furthermore, their checks confirm some Reels are earning an impressive 60 million plus views since their launch. So if you take that and combine it with Revolve's, excitement around the product, definitely something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, very impressive earnings report. As you were talking, I was just looking at what the company posted. The last time, because first of all, purely technically speaking, right? So this is where the earnings came out. This was on August 13 or August 14 rather, and that was my birthday, August 14. And the stock had a massive spike on very heavy volume, came up to resistance, was immediately overbought, and basically we have a classic textbook example of a light volume pullback with a gap fill, and that's what gives you low cost entries on the gap fill, because the implied volatility in the option market basically subsides by then. And so as it came down and filled that gap, now we see this massive call buyer shows up in leap call options in the March 20 call options with more than $1 million in bullish bet, which makes a lot of sense technically. And then it started to take next leg higher, and the volume spiked yesterday as well. And I'm looking at this earnings report. They reported Revolve revenues of 127 million versus 101 million estimate. That's a massive beat of 26% above consensus view. Really impressive. And similarly, they posted gross margin expanded sharply to 50.5% versus 47.5%. And this was all before they started this massive marketing campaign on Facebook's on Reels and Instagram and all of those. So this could be, and then it looks like also Point72 disclosed a large stake of 4.9% passive stake recently in the company as well. So that could also be helping with the large leap bullish option activity. Interesting stuff. Really haven't dived into this stock since the IPO much, but this is the first time I'm now looking deeper. Worth the look with that leap call buyer now position. Good stuff. Chronicle.
Morning, everyone. One stock this morning, Tempur Sealy, symbol TPX. KeyBank was out with a note this week regarding the company's management meetings, and there were 3 takeaways that stood out for me. First off, management said that their recent partnerships with mattress firm Big Lots and Beater Bed have been tracking ahead of expectations with lower than expected cannibalization. Second thing is the new Tempur Cloud bed-in-a-box mattress, as well as the recently acquired Sleep Outfitters. Both of them are seeing robust e-commerce growth so far this quarter. And last thing is something which I think is going under the radar, which is to do with the recent anti-dumping developments. Management said that this should begin to benefit domestic producers like Tempur Sealy starting in the 4th quarter. So overall, very positive. If anyone's recently taken profits in Louisiana Pacific, this would be a good one to rotate into for upside. There's no lumber exposure here.
Yeah, I'm just drawing these charts as you're talking because this has a classic, one of our favorite setups as well, which is when something goes into consolidation mode for a couple of weeks and the Bollinger Bands tighten as a result. And that's a precursor. Bollinger Bands tightening is a precursor to a large move, a pending large move in the stock, because then the volatility squeeze happens and it can go in either direction. No question about it. But given the trend that's in front of us and the pickup in volume and the update that you just provided and the bullish views that we have previously provided with official trade idea recommendation to clients, this would be a breakout potential to the upside. Very, very tight Bollinger Bands now. Take a look at these bands. VOP resistance right here at 80, I will call it $88 per share. If it takes that out, it's almost there. We could see a power candle breakout in this name. Interesting setup. I like it. Abo.
Morning, everyone. Just a technical play. I'm looking at Etsy this morning. Well, I was looking at it last night. It's up a couple of dollars again this morning. It bounced off the 50-day and the channel, the upper or the up trending channel's bottom range. Short note from Needham that I was looking here. came out on August 19th after management meeting. Talks about mainly the total addressable market expansion and customer retention since April or so. Opportunity in offsite ads where it's looking to be more and more beneficial for both sides, where the seller won't have to pay or doesn't have to pay any commission if a sale does not go through. And also now it looks like the management talks about total addressable market from being 100 billion in the past. Now they're talking about 1 trillion or in the trillion. So
Okay.
obviously over time, not for tomorrow.
Yeah. The total addressable market size is always one of those measures to get everybody excited, but naturally, you know, it's a great selling point, no
Yes.
question about it. But some companies just have the moat to grow into it very quickly, and some people just like talking about it. I mean, if you think about what total addressable market size is, basically you take into account like there's no competitive threat, there's nobody out there. This whole wide road is just open for us, and we can continue to make progress into this TAM. Anyways, but I have to say though, this is absolutely gorgeous technical setup. Because this is the kind of swing long trades that basically I would recommend to clients as well on a strong trending charts, as well as where the fundamental outlook is intact, which is the case over here. MACD has corrected, RSI has corrected, starting to lift higher. You can see that we're probably going to see this is potential beginning of next leg higher. So see if this starts to take out about 128. 127, 128. It closed at 125 yesterday. That would be a clear breakout potential over here, and could and
128 pre-market.
There you go. So 128 in pre-market, and this should on that breakout carry the stock to about 140 to 145, basically a touch above the prior 52-week high. And then I would basically look to take profits there. Fantastic technical setup, I have to say. Also, I think we have seen some tremendous amount of scattered, I should say, not huge blocks, but scattered amount of continued accumulation and call option activity in this name. I have to look at Jaguar scans to, don't remember on top of my head. But yeah, and by the way, great, each of you, everybody out with really good setup. So it sees right here, and then RVLV right here. I think this one gets to about 24 to 25. TPX right here, and then the one I discussed, XLNX. So all four of them have really nice technical setups, either breakout potentials or the next leg higher. All right, that's it from us. See you in the chat room shortly.